Caroline Wozniacki is safely through. The Russian 8th-seeded Katerina Makarova is out. Our coverage is back on 5 Live from 1 o'clock today. The highlight on centre. Third on, Heather Watson is up against Serena Williams as the covers are taken off. That's all the clanking over centre court right now. Other news then this morning, England's Lucy Bronze has been nominated for the Women's World Cup Player of the Tournament award. The fullback scored goals against Norway and Canada. England have a third-place playoff against Germany to come. And manager Mark Sampson insists they will be ready despite that disappointment of how they lost to Japan.
We're playing a wounded Germany. We don't like to lose 2 in a row. Yeah, this is an awesome challenge for us. And this team by this afternoon will just be focused on, come on, let's get a jersey on again. Dream you can do it. Give your best shot. I'll do it again.
West Ham had a 3-0 victory over the Andorran side FC Lusitano in the Europa League qualifier. First round, first leg wins as well for Linfield and Newtown. Aberdeen got a 1-1 draw away to Skundiu, I beg your pardon, of Macedonia. St Johnston lost a goal to nil to the Armenian side. Ashkert and Glenhaven and Glentoran and Bashike were also beaten. The Turkish club Fenerbahce, meanwhile, are close to signing Nani from Manchester United. That deal, we believe, is worth around £4.25 million. Now, the British Grand Prix is this weekend. Lewis Hamilton bidding to defend that 10-point advantage on the top of the Drivers' Championship from his Mercedes teammate Nico Rosberg. The BBC pundit Alan McNeish, though, says he should be concerned.
Coming into this particular race, a race that Lewis Hamilton won last year, Nico Rosberg is right on his heels with 3 victories in the last 4 races. It's getting pretty tense, and I think the crowd have already felt the atmosphere with the Mercedes duo. They're just going to heighten it even more.
5 Live Sports Section has coverage of first and second practice today at 5 to 10 and 5 to 2 this afternoon. In their final Investec Ashes Series warm-up match, Australia's bowlers have been able to struggle a bit. Essex reached 299 for 3 at close, replying to 562 from Australia. Lee Triners have agreed a new 4-year contract with the England international Zach Hardaker. Warrington beat Wigan 17-6 in First Utility Super League last night. And the double Olympic cycling champion Victoria Pendleton finished 8th on her debut as an amateur jockey at Newcastle.
This is BBC 5 Live. All digital online software and sound.
The heat and more humidity will come further storms. Now, these severe thunderstorms will start to work their way into southwest England, central southern England, move northwards in towards Wales, Midlands, northwest, and then northeast England, eventually into Scotland by the early hours of Saturday morning. Now, these storms will have the potential to be similar to the ones we had on Wednesday night. So, lots of lightning around, intense rainfall, large hail as well. So these storms have the potential to cause some damage. So be aware of that fact as they move their way north. But it's going to be a muggy night. But as we go into Saturday, the storm's still with you across the far north of Scotland, clearing away. Sunny spells for many of us with temperatures getting to about 21 to 28 Celsius.
That's pretty good. Thank you very much. So be wary if you're out and about later. But for now, the roads, Orna?
Not too bad, but the M6 in Warwickshire, very heavy. 2 lanes were closed northbound at Coventry Junction 3. The queues are still there, backing up to the M69, but all lanes are open. I'll have a full look at the travel in 10 minutes' time.
Digital radio, digital TV, downloads and online.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live. 5 Live Breakfast.
With Nikki Campbell and Rachel Burden.
7:41. A minute's silence will be held at midday today to remember the 13 British holidaymakers killed a week ago on a beach in the Tunisian resort town of Sousse. The National Police Chiefs Council says forces across the country will be observing the event, and flags at police stations will fly at half-mast. Chief Constable of Greater Manchester Police, Sir Peter Fahey, is the National Lead for Preventing Radicalisation. Good morning. What does the case in Tunisia tell us about the terrorist threat here in the UK at the moment, if anything?
Probably didn't tell us a great deal, but it shows that obviously British subjects are at risk all around the world, most of us all around the world, and that ISIL is pretty indiscriminate the way it targets people. I think that if there's anything positive to come out of it, we've not seen any increase in community tensions in this country. No attacks that I'm aware of on Muslim people. So I think it's good that the whole community is standing together, supporting the victims of Tunisia. And clearly what we're looking to do is to try and, build upon that in terms of the, the fight against terrorism and the fight against extremism, and how we identify young people who themselves may be thinking about travelling to Syria or even carrying out an attack in this country.
Well, that's a key question. The Tunisian authorities had no idea, it seems, of the risk that this young man posed. He lived a sort of double life, didn't he? And we have similar problems here, don't we, in terms of identifying who
We do,
posed.
but we up to now we have been successful. We've clearly made many arrests. There are many investigations on at the moment, and this is about building upon that. It is about using the sort of techniques we use every single day in the way that we work with teachers and social workers in identifying young people who may be involved in drug dealing or street gang activity, or indeed we deal with victims of child abuse.
So you've been successful, but
Yeah.
the number of people who are of interest to the security services in this country has ballooned.
Well, that
over the
shows
last
that,
decade.
yeah.
And of course we've had these recent very high-profile cases of whole families, individuals going to Syria, and seemingly nothing is done either beforehand to identify them or secondly to stop them.
Monitored. It shows that we are receiving information, that we have great cooperation with the security services, but obviously we can never be complacent about this.
Woods, just a moment or so, who's from a company called Foxagon, worked with foxes more than 20 years, and apparently Terry speaks their language and has empathy with foxes and understands.
Speak their language?
Yes, he's on soon. He's on.
The M6 long delays northbound. Junction 3 at Coventry is where 2 lanes were closed. That closure has been lifted now. Those lanes open, but the queues are still there. Looking at the speed sensors, backing up to the M69 at Junction 2. Then delays on the M5 in the West Midlands. A vehicle caught fire at the link road taking you to the M6 north. 1 lane is closed on the M5 northbound. And the M5 northbound again in Worcestershire. Breakdown, Junction 4 at Bromsgrove with 1 lane closed. The M1 in Derbyshire is queuing. That's heading into the roadworks though. Junction 28 Alfreton to 29 at Chesterfield. And in North Yorkshire, the A19 at Tees flyover. Breakdown there, 1 lane is closes between the A66 and the Portrack interchange. The M20, that is closed again on the coastbound side today. Operation Style. It's closed between 8 and Leeds Castle and 1 That's to clear the waiting to cross the channel. Most of the closure has been reduced. It's closed in both directions. It's next. It's getting smaller. Stop closing the time of the M20 to Calais is open. No services operating the full schedule. Legend
I'd have used my knowledge of foxes and my feeling for foxes on what its intentions were for a start, which would, I am sure, as I say, I wasn't there.
What would your body language have been, so the fox would have known that you were not a threat? Hello? Hello, yeah. What would your body language have been so that you would have known, that the fox would have known that your intentions were benevolent?
Well, I would have been in charge for a start.
Yeah.
So I would have taken command of the situation. I would not have backed away from the fox, because I suspect the fox was following rather than stalking. And as I say, I wasn't there, but in all the foxes I've dealt with over the years, it literally must be thousands and thousands that have not ever encountered a fox stalking people. I get reports from people saying,
well, there was a report, just very quickly, a couple of years back, maybe a shorter time than that, of a fox biting a baby.
I don't think going down that road to do with this incident really is going to help at all, because there have been numerous reports about foxes biting babies that have turned out to be someone's dog who they didn't want to get the dog destroyed, or they didn't want to get in trouble.
Interesting. Yeah.
And then, and the latest one, again, was proved to be a dog that, and I'm never privileged to know the full situation.
But as you say, the fox, you claim the fox gets the blame. Terry, really interesting talking to you. Thank you very much indeed. Views on foxes, please, 85058. Are you for foxes? Are you against foxes? There's Terry with some Foxagon. It's 7:56.
Just over 24 hours to go till the start of one of the most anticipated Tour de France in decades. There'll be live commentary of every stage on either 5 Live Sports Extra or the BBC Sport website from around 3 o'clock every day.
Yes, the 2013 champion Chris Froome of Team Sky is one of 4 leading contenders to take the yellow jersey. I'm delighted to say Team's principal Sir Dave Brailsford joins us on the line from Utrecht.
Good morning, Sir Dave.
Good morning.
Tell us what kind of shape Chris Froome is in at the moment.
He's good, actually. He's physically he's in great shape. Excuse me. He's well. He's healthy, and mentally he's a lot more relaxed than he was this time last year, and he's really up for it. And he's seen it as a big opportunity rather than maybe a threat. You know, he wanted the year before, but he's in great shape. The team's in great shape, and we're ready to go.
Fantastic, and it will be a genuine four-way battle, won't it, with Contador, Nibali and Quintana as well. How exciting will this be, do you think, compared to previous years?
Well, I think everybody's been waiting for the big race where all these 4 big riders come together and just ride it out head-to-head, you know, and it hasn't happened yet. So this is the race, and this is the one everybody's been waiting for. They're all slightly different in their characteristics, but they're all brilliant. And the races are 2 halves. You've got tough first, flatter stages, but crosswinds, cobbles, and then we go into the mountains. So it's a game of 2 halves, really. Sorry to use that pun, but it'll be exciting.
It's a game of 21 stages, isn't it, really, strictly speaking?
Well, yes, of course it is. It is. But ultimately, there's the first phase of this race up to the team time trial in northern France, where it's very much like one-day style racing. So we've got a stage with cobblestones, we've got a stage with crosswinds, big crosswinds on the seafronts. We've got stages with very short, sharp finishes, which is a very specific type of skill. And so that we need to get all that out of the way without having lost any time. And then we get to the team time trial, and then we can assess where we're at going into the Pyrenees and to the Alps, where the mountain guys will really come out and determine the final race.
And you've got great experience on your side as well. Much expected of your Welshman, Geraint Thomas, I'm sure, facing his 6th Tour this year. What do you think he's capable of?
Well, Geraint's really stepped up this year. He's very, very experienced. In fact, I found a photograph yesterday in 2009. It's our first training camp with Team Sky. He's got a big round face. We're good on laugh about it. He's managed to change his body so much. He can lead, he's light, he can climb exceptionally well. He can ride on the flat, he can ride on cobbles. And he epitomises a team player, but he's good enough to win. So he's a fantastic guy to have on a team. And if only everybody would be like Geraint Thomas in terms of their outlook towards the team, my job would be very, very easy, that's for sure.
Yeah, and no longer in your team, and still very much man in form, Mark Cavendish, and of course hoping to do well in the sprints again this year. What do you expect from him?
Well, Mark is in form. unfortunately rode a terrific race at the National Championships last weekend. He's kind of come back into really top shape. So I think he'll be the man to beat in the sprint stages. And you know, great to see that the Brits in the race, there are 10 Brits in the race this year, which is the most there's been since, I think once before was the highest amount of the Gates twins as well. So overall, it's a great reflection of how cycling in Britain keep on moving up, you know, and just keep on going. It's great.
Wonderful to talk to you. Good luck today. Enjoy the next few weeks.
Thank you very much.
Sir Dave Brailsford for Team Sky. All the coverage from the opening stage of the Tour de France tomorrow afternoon from 3 o'clock on Sports Next.
We're running a minute late because of Sir Dave. Good to hear from him after 8. What does Heather Watson need to do to beat Serena Williams? Well, as the former British #1 and clearly
Children's charity boss Camilla Blackman-Gellich has been asked to step down by the government as it withholds millions of pounds in funding for speaking to her.
well, should people who don't turn up for their GP appointments be fined? Jeremy Hunt says he's now open to the idea. What do you reckon?
First for breaking news and the best live sport. This is BBC 5 Live.
Good morning, it's 8 o'clock, 5 Live Breakfast with Vicky Campbell and Rachel Byrne.
The top news story on 5 Live: a prison custody officer has died after she was attacked while escorting a prisoner. We'll get the details.
Good morning from George Riley at Wimbledon, where Andy Murray and James Ward are through to the third round, but Rafael Nadal crashes out.
If you go to the in-short section of the 5 Live website, you can hear Tim Henman discussing his dodgy dancing. This was at Andy Murray's wedding, apparently. He was making dodgy shaves. And also telling John McEnroe why he still hasn't given Andy Murray his wedding present.
This is BBC 5 Live.
The prison custody officer who was seriously assaulted at Blackfriars Crown Court in London has died. 5 Live's Rob Watts has more.
We've had a statement from the Metropolitan Police in the last few minutes saying detectives investigating the assault of a prison officer at Blackfriars Crown Court have been informed this morning, Friday the 2nd of July, that the victim has died. She was Lorraine Barwell, who was 54, a prisoner custody officer for Serco.
Humphrey Burke, who's 22 and of no fixed abode, had previously been charged with her assault. A minute's silence will be held at midday in memory of those killed in the Tunisia beach attack. 38 people died, 30 of whom were British. There'll be delays at Wimbledon and the Henley Regatta. Is our reporter John Brown.
The Queen and Duke of Edinburgh will mark the silence in Glasgow, where they're opening a new facility at the University of Strathclyde. The Prime Minister will join in his constituency in Oxfordshire. Police officers will be observing the silence, and school children and their teachers are also being asked to observe it.
Patients who miss NHS appointments in England will be told how much their failure to turn up has cost the health service. The Health Secretary Jeremy Hunt has said he's also open to the possibility of charging people who don't show up. Research into gene therapy suggests it can be used to treat cystic fibrosis. It's found that by giving patients a healthy form of the gene that causes the lethal disease, the decline in their lung function can be slowed down. It's Professor Stephen Hyde from Oxford University.
It's taken an awful long time to get here, but finally we've been able to show that if we give monthly doses of a synthetic form of the CFG mixed up with some special fats as inhaled medicine, about a teaspoonful every month, that we can stop the loss of lung function that our CF patients normally suffer from, and that's what causes them to pass away.
Rallies for and against the terms of a new bailout for Greece will be held in Athens today, just 2 days ahead of a referendum on the proposed deal. The Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras is asking people to vote against the plan. A Greek minister has told 5 Live the country is being held to ransom by the EU. The RMT union says engineers on Southern Rail will halt a 5-day strike from July the 12th. It says its members are walking out because of a comprehensive breakdown in relations over working conditions. Citizens Advice says changes must be made to the energy market because customers on prepayment meters are paying up to £400 a year more than those on the cheapest tariffs. The charity says those with the least money are being charged the most. Brenda Icardi from Newport in South Wales uses a prepaid meter.
It makes me feel very annoyed. It seems to me that we're subsidising the people who are on credit meters, and that shouldn't be. They're getting the money from us straight away. They don't have to wait for it, so I think that's wrong.
And a Swiss pilot attempting to fly around the world in a solar-powered plane has broken the record for the longest non-stop solo flight. Andre Borschberg, who took off from Japan on Monday, has exceeded Steve Fossett's 76-hour journey in 2006. Here, the noise of Wimbledon, the gentle rumbling
George's tummy.
That was actually me getting back into position. I've just been doing some stretches, just doing some lunges.
I wanted to ask you guys something very quickly. I was in the gym yesterday. I talked about locker rooms and gyms and so forth, and I was on a bike listening to music, and I got this. What's going on? And the guy next to me, it was his trainers, the stink from his trainers. It was like he brought in a bucket of gorgonzola, basically. What's the fault?
Had he taken them off?
No, he still had them on. I just thought, what's going on? And should I have said something? Or is that
how big was it?
Not the thing.
Nicky, don't get me started on gym etiquette. I had to leave my gym recently after going into the steam room and seeing one chap having a shave in there and another eating a Snickers.
A Snickers in the gym? Oh, my
What's wrong with eating a Snickers?
It's all melted.
In a steam room?
Anyway,
you are kidding me.
More of this on another occasion when we got more time, because it's a rich area. Anyway, George.
Yes, good morning. Beautiful, beautiful sunny morning from Wimbledon. I'm on centre court. The next half hour I'm going to be speaking with Anne Kiothafong and Lindsay Davenport, I can see, has just arrived as well. So we'll be speaking to her, the two-time Wimbledon